magazine did a Take Back the Music campaign. They said, we gonna take hip-hop back. I never knew they had it. Essence is not a hip-hop magazine. Never been a hip-hop artist on the cover unless they had crossed over to become a movie star. But Essence had a commitment to black women and the imagery of black women. And they said, we're going to protect the image of black women, and we can't stand for this Nelly tip drill stuff no more. Tip drill was the video that forever changed misogyny in hip-hop on television. We're not going to get it. Look at it on YouTube. I just lost my train of thought. Tip drill kind of does And they had these panel discussions. And Oprah had panel discussions about what was wrong with hip-hop. But nobody had a panel about sexism and civil rights. Nobody had a panel about sexism in the black church. Nobody had a panel about the misogyny in the black power movement. So, civil rights, this movement that legitimately was one of the most successful social political movements in the history of the world, was sexist. How do I know? Because there wasn't no women talking. There were no female spokespersons in civil rights. Fannie Lou Hamer was a soldier. Daisy Bates was an advisor. No spokeswomen in civil rights. 90% of the movement was women, but they couldn't do nothing but march and be secretaries. Let's talk about the black church. Sexist. Denominations that still won't let women preach. The AME denomination, the oldest denomination of black folks that say they love God in the world, just elected their first female bishop in the last 5 years. Why? Because they don't want to be led by women. Sexist. You can't preach the sermon, but you can cook the repast. Okay? Black Power movement, which in many cases, again, was another connection to gangs that became socially conscious, where women will tell you in order to move their way up through certain organizations, it was through sex. Misogyny. What's my point? My point is, yes, hip-hop is sexist. Yes, portions of it are misogynistic. Yes, part of it is vulgar. But it was inherited. It was inherited from a generation that was not honest about the reality of their own social issues and passed it on to their children. And now have spread it to everybody. But now, even with the sexism, the misogyny, the vulgarity, the conflicting value system that exists within some music and hip-hop, you have a world of young people under the age of 30 who are more on the same page than any generation of people in the history of the world. Ever. Their parents don't even understand it. I think it's amazing. I actually find it amusing. When you've got racist white folks whose kids become what they hate. I mean, can you imagine being at dinner when your son comes in with his pants sagging and his hat backward talking about, what up, nigga? But what it speaks to is the fact that this is a subculture that has the ability to create not only social movements, but societies where people see each other for the value that they bring to the circle and not the difference that they bring to the circle. So whether it is being able to utilize hip-hop for the language that it is, because the church in many cases has still been afraid of hip-hop. When it's not about being afraid of it, it's about the utilization of it. None of us are able to go and preach or minister or evangelize in a language that the people don't get. So you got people trying to do street ministry going with civil rights language to a hip-hop generation. Which is why they're not at the church. It would be like going into Bangladesh speaking Russian. Like, do you want to love the Lord? What? The Civil Rights Movement, the NAACP, the Urban League, social justice organizations that want to create a construct for change are still using language that is disconnected from the reality of young people that are a part of hip-hop.